Welcome and namaskar. My name is Avatans Kumar, and I am here to welcome you to our launch podcast of Rooted and Roaming, a podcast exploring Indian American perspective. With me, joining me to discuss this topic is Lalit Jhaji. Namaste, Lalit ji.
Namaste, namaste.
Neerav Patel ji. Namaste, Neerav ji.
नमस्ते नमस्ते अवतार जी।
Amitabh Mittal ji. Namaste, Amitabh ji.
नमस्कार।
So, like I mentioned earlier, this is our launch podcast of Rooted and Roaming, and we expect many of the topics in future to discuss among ourselves. We'll also have many experts come in and join us and talk about many of the issues that we have been dealing with as a community. But today's topic is racial tension and increase in racially motivated attacks on Indians in America. Um, as you have noticed, all of you must have noticed that within the last 10, 12 months, the attacks on Indian Americans, mostly, but not limited to, on online platforms, have increased manifold. And it's not that these attacks were not there. We had been always been under attack in this community, but it has gone up significantly. Um, so we would like to invite. Let's see. First, Lalit ji, can you tell us briefly what has been going on in terms of racial attacks? What are some of the examples that we can think about?
Yeah, thank you, Avtaji, for your introduction to the topic. But let me start with saying that this country has given a lot to the immigrants, for at least in particular the Indian community, right? There's hardly any country where Indians have got so much benefit and privileges like the United States of America. You see, in every stream, be the economy, politics, sports, judiciary, media, in businesses, every stream of American life, Indian Americans have done well. Indian Americans have been given a quite important positions from across in various parts of it. But in the last few years, what we have seen is, and that trend is increasingly there, that there has been increasing attack on Indian Americans, maybe the hate crime or some other issues at all. We see there's some systematic effort to do that, and mostly on which people have been saying based on our ethnicity, be it attack on the temples, be it attack on individuals, and this is keeps on increasing. What is of more concerning as well in the last few months, that that anti-India sentiment has increased massively on the social media. We see people are coming up. A section of society is coming up with a lot of hated messages against individuals who have done well in their life, institutions who have done good in this country, and their contribution to this country is immense. This is of immense. This is of serious. This I can say is a serious of concern to all of us.
Yes, very well said, Lalit ji. Now, Neerav ji, I will come to you and I'll ask you. The attacks have been happening for quite a while, right? You can see when the Gandhiji's statue was vandalized both in California and in DC, and our mandirs were vandalized and desecrated in New Jersey and as well as in California. Um, but what has been the main reason of recent uh, increase in these kind of events? What do you think is driving this?
Vatansi, there was a certain group who used to be targeting the Hindu community and the Indian community for many years. Those are who has done a lot anti-humanitarian activity in all over world. Those community they want to get hide behind some of the cover, and they are making the Hindus and Indian as a cover. and they are keep blaming for so many things which Indian community never ever done it, or they don't have any idea about that. Also, there are some misinformation, and there are some kind of confusion too, that they are counting us either from the Middle East, or they are thinking that we are Middle East, or we are from some terror countries, and those are some confusion, and some of the attack happened for that in the past. Recently, what happening is a majority the political and the government statements coming out from the top authority, the top politicians, anti-India kind of sentiments coming out, pushing the tariff, and there are some comment that India is buying the Russian oil, and the Russia is using that money to bomb the U.S. soldier. They are planning to bombing the U.S. country. So this kind of statement came, which India has nothing to do with that. Our community has nothing to do with that. You know, and those feed some mischief to the rural areas of the United States, where a lot of Indians are living in those areas. And for many years, this is maybe their second or third generation who lives in that area, and doing the small business, running the shops, running the gas station, running the convenience stores. Those kind of business are restaurants, the daily shop, the sandwich shop. They are the one who are most affected right now, because there is a completely a misinformation, and me, you, we all, and our childrens and their children, whenever they're born in America, they they look like Indian. It's not, you cannot change that skin, or that genetic. And if these kind of leadership are talking against India and Indians in America, and the H-1B holder, and they're abusing uh, our policies and our funds, and those kind of fake statement, those are wrong statement, that is affecting the community, and the community is in very tense right now. uh,
Mhm.
Kids are getting bullied in the school now.
Yep.
So we are standing on the edge, that we stand too much behind this country, behind this community, and what suddenly happened, uh, that changed everyone's perspective to us. So this need to be changed, and the leadership side and the political side, it has to be corrected. It has to be corrected. Otherwise, we might become the victim of some violence, hate crime very soon.
Yes, that's a very significant point, Neeraj. Um, the the target has been put on our back for whatever reasons, and one of the things that you mentioned that I think requires some kind of deliberation here, confusion. What are some of the confusions that Nirav ji is talking about? Amitabh ji, I'm coming to you. Maybe you can pick up on some of the things that he is talking about. Where does this confusion emanate from? It is, in my opinion, where I see it's not a one day thing that happened, some government change or whatever else. It is a long perpetuating confusion that has been created. So for example, if you look at the caste bill, right, the kind of narrative they build, that the people who come from India, upper caste and oppressors, those kind of things, right? So that's one kind of narrative that is built around. But then also on tariff, and also and on Russian oil, people have talked about. Can you try to decode a little bit of what Neeraj is saying.
Uh, Thank you, Avdanshi, and thank you to the fellow panelists. And very happy to be here to start something to possibly answer to the misinformation that is causing this in situation that our community finds itself. I go back in the history of 1970s. There were roaming gangs in New Jersey where our community first arrived. They were proudly called dot busters. They would attack our um, mothers and aunts, had to go through that. And that was a very strange period. They are highly qualified, top of the top cream of India that came here in 70, starting 69 when they opened and up to 75. These are highly, highly educated people who came here from a very distant land, suddenly arriving, just like all new immigrants go through. Like you talk to Italians, they went to through that. Irish went through that.
Polls
So
went through that.
Indians, Poles, everybody went through that. Yeah? So we went through that phase of fear of unknown, and fear of something new, strange, weird. Our mothers, aunts were attacked. That period we went through, our community, that was pure ignorance and hatred at that time. That was racial, not racial, that was pure ignorance and hatred that fueled that. That was the reasoning back then. That hey, these news people, they're weird, they smell, their food smells different than our food, and whatever not. So that was 70s to 80s. And then our community proved itself. Our community is growing leaps and bounds in highest of the highest positions in highly acclaimed institutions. We have you know uh, big corporations, you name it, your educational, technology, science, everywhere. You would find majority of our highly educated people. They got a respect level, so that was a phase you got into the respect level. In the recent year, what has happened is the um, the some of the groups that have been coming here in the last 15, 20 years to America, um, they are coming with a disdain for India. You'd be surprised to know that there are over 600,000 asylum seekers who got approved by the U.S. courts, claiming that India is a country that uh, targets Christians and Muslims and Sikhs and all the minorities. And these are cases that are proved in the U.S. justice system. So when these cases go through the system, and our community doesn't talk back about what good we are doing to for the country as a whole, we stay very quiet. We do our work quietly. We're doing tremendous work. But there are forces that migrated into America, which targeted specifically, the Indian community. We divided into classes, and it becomes a classic European class warfare. That hey, these guys are coming here taking your jobs. Not that they put hard work, they studied and they, uh, you know, figured out the trades and they did the right things in their life and they did not do anything wrong and they gave back so much to the community. That part is hidden. And what is happening now, the difference between the 70s and now is there are active political forces, both in United States and outside United States, that have put a target on the Indian community.
Mhm.
Okay. There are people with their vested interest who are here to create this tension. Okay. And I hope with podcasts like this, we can give back the answer to the community. And hey, we are the Hindu community, or the American, sorry, like the Indian American community contributes 10% almost to the GDP of this country, of $38 trillion economy. So $3.8 trillion of that is generated by 5 million Indian Americans. I mean, that's a tremendous number. I mean, that puts you as a number three economy by itself in the world. Right behind four economy, right behind India now, and a little bit behind. Sorry, a little behind Japan now, but just 5 million people are generating 10% of the GDP of this nation, which means fifth largest economy of the world can be the 5 million Hindus here or Indians here. Um, and of course, when you achieve so much, there comes the people who are going to put a target on you.
Mhm.
That is what is happening, in my opinion. To counter that, we need to be more outspoken. We need to be out in the public telling how good what we are doing, how we are supporting this nation, how our small businesses are keeping alive the highways. Mr. Patel belongs to, I believe, an association, ASOA, Asian American Store Owner Association, 4,800 stores. Who are they serving to? The community. If the stores disappear, the community is the one that's going to suffer.
Right.
Uh, so I hope through this podcast and through other medium, we can get this message across to the larger audience. Hey, the Indian American is actually here as to work with you, help you, and build America, not against America.
Mhm. Yeah, very very good points, Amit ji. Coming back to Lalit ji again, Lalit ji, you are in DC, and one of the things that Amit ji mentioned is politicians to be involved in political processes more, with more aggressive attitude. As Indian American, put out our values and tell other people what are some of the things politicians, especially from our community, are talking in DC when these kind of hate crimes uh, are perpetuated on this community. Are they making any move to quell, first of all, make the awareness about this in the the power circles, and then how to remedy this kind of issue.
Yeah, here in DC, there is a complete awareness, full awareness about the increasing attacks on the Indian Americans across the country. But what we have been seeing here, unfortunately, is those who are aware about it are sitting on the sidelines and not fighting it out, not raising the voice. We have seen some instances of bits and pieces, isolated incidents of where politicians, the representatives have been fighting it out or raising some voices, but there's no systematic and urgency among them that this has to be done on a top priority basis. Look how several politicians, political leaders have been attacked in the last several weeks, right? And have been trolled on social media by one section of the society who are hating against the rise of Indian Americans. There's no effort by even our own politicians or those who are or the community leaders to fight it out very aggressively.
Yeah, and to that effect, I think some of the politicians, Indian American politicians themselves, have been attacked by these elements, right? Like I can name Ro Khanna and Raja Krishnamurthy. They have been attacked uh, by these elements.
And you're right. And the quite unfortunate part is that we don't see that seriousness, those aggressiveness from these politicians itself. Although we have seen that Khanna sometimes speaking when Vivek Ramaswamy has been attacked or Radha Krishnamurti speaking when Khanna has been attacked, but we don't see a collective effort, united effort to fight it out. Uh, even every politician of Indian American origin have been attacked or increasingly been attacked in the last couple of months, last few weeks aggressively, but we don't see a collective effort.
And since we are talking about putting kind of some kind of blame on some of us, I think one of the biggest blame that goes is the intellectual class, the elite class, that the and the professors and the people in media that who have access to big platforms. They don't not only not talk about it, but actually, in my opinion, I don't know what you think, but some of them perpetuate the same kind of things in media.
You're right. The Indian American media is quite weak at this point of time. In fact, there is not a sizable, influential Indian American media right now. We can fight it out. We are just reduced to focused on some community events here and there, putting our own pictures there. But there is no collective effort, even for the on the part of the Indian American media, uh, to raise this voice collectively and even in isolated way. We have not been doing that. Uh,
Mhm.
There could be multiple reasons. One could be the lack of resources these media outlets have, or that might not be the part. Or maybe who wants to raise his voice against it.
Right. Um, well, maybe we should talk a little bit about some kind of suggestions where uh, how what kind of things we can do, not to only counter what's happening right now, but also to prevent it uh, from happening in future. Nirav ji and Amit ji, maybe you have some ideas that you would like to share, some concrete idea which can be measured also.
Uh, I think first of first, uh, whoever our contacts and whoever politician they come to us for asking the support, we have to very vocal with them in upfront, and we have to ask them to fix this mess what they made it for. And second thing, as a community, we have to start getting awareness surrounding us, and wherever we get a chance, we have to discuss that who we are, what are our contribution here. I am sure in a major cities, the big cities, the urban area, they all knows that. Urban area, you don't see this problem. This is more in a rural area. Some of the schools and colleges you feel it, but beside that, not that much. But before it coming, we have to prevent it. If we don't prevent this will get worse. This will get worse, and we don't want one day that come that we have to prove ourselves that we are American and we are Indian American, and this is our contribution. We have to keep talking. We have to keep telling them. Hopefully, those days won't come.
Amit ji, do
Maybe
you
we
have
can
any?
ask.
One thing I wanted to take from Lalit ji mentioned, right? There have been attack on Rokanna, there have been attack on the Hindu faith of Vivek
Vivek?
Ramaswamy. The politics aside, I know it's a very difficult thing for politicians to do, the politics aside of being Democrat or Republican. But if they can come together and say, hey, I'm here for my policies, can you, and then they come together somehow. We have to get the message to them, right? The
Mhm.
Rao and Vivek Ramaswamy and Raja Krishnamurti and Thanedar and, all of them need to stand together. Pramila Jayapal, they can have different politics, but say, hey, you know, I'm of this origin. I stand with, as a Democrat, I stand with you. As a Republican, I stand with you. And let's discuss the policies to make America better and to make our life better instead of attacking the people of where I originated. I'm here. I'm contributing to here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm we represent the most contributing community in this country, and the least amount, like the list just put on by the president. The Indians have like the name's not even there on the rosters
Right.
of public aid.
Yeah.
It is less than a percent.
Right.
5 million and less than a percent of the community is on public aid. That's a tremendous thing that they can talk about. But somehow, if the message can go to Raja and Ro and Krishna and uh,
And also in
Ramaswamy
the
that
White
come
House.
together,
Also in the White
huh?
House. Also in the White
Yeah,
House.
yeah,
Yes.
Because they're the
yeah,
executive branch.
yeah, yeah. The politicians, they say, Indians are not taking your jobs away. You're Americans,
Right.
and we are doing American jobs.
Right.
That's the message needs to go out. The Indians are not taking jobs away. It's the
Right.
American who are doing the American work.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, very, very nice. Thank you very much. And I think for the initial launch podcast, I will stop here. I have one thing just to say. Those who know our former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, he used to say in one of his poems, he said, he quoted from Gita, I think, "Na dainyam na palayanam." हम लोग कहीं जाने वाले नहीं हैं. We are not
Yeah,
going.
नहीं.
Yeah, we are not going to beg, nor we are going to leave. So at that note, I hand it over to our studios. We'll be back with more similar kind of discussions soon, pretty soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.
Okay.